Do you consider yourself to be a light worker? Do you feel like you have a bigger purpose or mission in this lifetime? Have you maybe even ever wondered what exactly is your role as a light worker in this lifetime? What is your purpose, your mission? Well, in this video today, I want to share with you exactly what is your role as a light worker and how does that relate to finding out your purpose and your mission in this lifetime and actually stepping into that. Because you do have a very important role to play in this lifetime. Every lifetime that you choose to step into the role of a light worker, you hold a very important purpose and a very important role. And in this video, I want to share with you what exactly that looks like. Because if you have that feeling or somewhat of that inner knowing that there's so much more possible for you, that you're actually meant for so much more, then you're absolutely right. You are meant to really make an impact on the world. But let's start out with what is the role of a true light worker. So a light worker, their role is to bring the light back into the world. Well, that's why they're called light worker, right? They're working with the light. They're bringing the light back into the world. They're shining their light so brightly, which then has a beautiful ripple effect. They're also meant to assist in raising the frequency, raising the consciousness of humanity. And then also to use their own gifts. Because every single light worker, they have a set of gifts. They're either psychics or healers or channels, or they have other gifts, the spiritual gifts that they're meant to use to make an impact in the world, to help others. Another role they may have is that they are meant to spread high frequency messages and light with the world, whether it's through channeling, through just their healing work, or just their work that they're doing. They are sharing the light with others. And finally is that they're meant to be somewhat of a vessel, of the vehicle, the messenger for the divine, for source, for spirit, for God, if you would like to call it God, for light beings. Because as you're stepping into the role of a light worker, you will experience many different things that will all help you in really stepping into that and making that impact that you're meant to be making. But now let me explain to you about your mission as a light worker. Because it's a little different. You have the role, you have the mission, and you have the purpose. So your mission as a light worker is to first, you must go through your own inner healing and own inner awakening. Because if you're not doing your own inner work, well, you can't really help other people. So you must first remember again who you are, rediscover who you are at soul level. Because we're not being taught these things in high school or elementary school, right? We're not being taught that in life. We're being taught to dim our light, to not embrace our gifts. If you've had gifts when you were younger, you know, your parents probably told you to get real. This is crazy. You're just imagining things. Let's say you saw spirit or you heard spirit or you just knew things. You had those spiritual experiences and, well, they didn't understand. So they most likely told you to get real and to let it go. So a part of you then said, well, in order for me to then fit in, I need to dim my light. I need to hold back. I need to put that aside, you know, put it in a box, stuff it in a box and just forget about the box, right? And in order to really embrace your mission as a light worker, you have to rediscover who you are deep within. You have to wake up again, rediscover your gifts. And that requires a lot of healing, a lot of shedding the old, breaking through all that programming and all the limitations that you have been taught throughout your life. You also are then required to go through many lessons and hardship and challenges. And these can be at any kind of range, from mild to very severe, where you may even feel like you're losing grip on life. It's those immense, intense adversities that you may have to go through. But each of those things that you're going through throughout your life, they're all meant to help you to wake up, to find your path, to learn the things that you need to learn in order to then help other people. Right? So you can think of like, what is the one thing that in your life that you struggled with the most? And it could be many different things that all kind of were similar, but they all were about the same kind of core essence. Well, that is then most likely what you're then meant to help others with. If it's your own healing, then it may be that. If it's like going through your spiritual awakening, it could be that. There's so many different things that you're experiencing throughout your life. Those life lessons that you as a soul have to experience, as a human being have to experience, in order to then be able to fulfill your mission, your purpose in this lifetime of being a light worker. Because each of those lessons, the hardships, the adversities, they're all meant to help you learn and grow. And then throughout your awakening, because that's basically what happens. Like once, you start this journey, you're starting to awaken. So through your spiritual awakening, you will then feel guided to explore different modalities, maybe even learn different modalities. Now in the beginning, it's more so for your own self-healing. So whether it's you feeling drawn to oracle cards, to Reiki, to like through meditation, yoga, or whatever it is, right? You may feel called to do those type of things at first for yourself. That also then gives you somewhat of a variety to kind of test out what do you like, what do you don't like, what do you really feel drawn to then decide, because then there comes the time where you then will pay it forward and then share what you have learned with others. But you will experience, or you will then feel called to learn different modalities, or at least explore them, for you to also find out, well, what is it that you feel called to be doing? And here there's always usually a progression as well. You may start out with one thing that then actually leads you then to another thing. Because as you're awakening as a light worker, as you're awakening, there's always that progression, right? When I first started out, I started out with EFT, the tapping. That was like my thing. No, actually before that I was doing Reiki, then EFT, then came the Akashic Records, then came light language, and now that's kind of the things that what I'm really stuck with is the light language, and of course also the channeling and things like that, really work with the light beings. But I wasn't ready in the beginning to already start with light language, because there's the progression, and then you will experience that too throughout your life, throughout your journey of really stepping into your role and embracing your role as a light worker. You will explore those different modalities, because they will then help you really find what you are meant to be doing. But it's all happening because of your own spiritual awakening, your own journey of really awakening. You may then also even go through a period of pulling away, wanting to be alone, really separating yourself from all these people in your life. And here not about so much separating, but just you pulling away, because you're realizing that you need to go within. You need that time alone to really do that deep inner soul searching, right? Because if you're always around people, it's very distracting, because then you're hearing about their life, and it's just so much noise, right? It keeps you distracted from really tuning in. And that's really what is important, is in order for you to really step into your role of a light worker, you have to go within. You have to rediscover yourself. And you can do that when there are all these naysayers around you, the people in your life that don't understand what you're going through, that don't understand what it means to be a light worker, to be on this path. Now, you may be lucky and you have someone in your life, in your family, that is also on their spiritual awakening journey. But even then, you may require a time where you really unplug, because you need that time for yourself to get to know yourself again. Think of it like that. When you're dating someone, you're not having your entire family there or your friends, right? You want some alone time with this person to get to know them. Well, it's the same thing with your own awakening. In order for you to really discover who you are as a light worker, as a light being, as a divine soul, well, you need time alone with yourself. You may go through that period of really wanting to be alone and pulling away from everyone and everything, because you need that time of going within. Because a lot of shedding needs to happen as well. And well, if you're being distracted by all these people, the shedding is not really happening. It comes with that healing, that letting go, and realizing certain things that are simply no longer in alignment with you, and you then deciding, okay, I'm going to let that go because it is holding me back. It is not serving me on this higher path. Now, another part of your mission is you're actually meant to go through a period of a dark night of the soul. Now, this can actually happen multiple times, and it can vary from intensity and also the length. Now, dark night of the soul, I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but dark night of the soul is a period of immense challenges. Like, it's really like the dark night of the soul, right? But it's not just one night. I mean, it can last days, it can last weeks, it can even last years, right? And usually the very first one is the most intense one. And you may even have back to back, right? Or just like an entire period of just absolute darkness and challenges. Like I said, this is all about helping you awaken, helping you rediscover who you are. It's helping you shed all the old and those type of things. So yes, it's not always pleasant to the mission of a light worker, of getting there, of really embracing that. But when you embrace it, it will be definitely worth it. And I'm pretty sure if you're here, you have already gone through some other period of darkness and challenges. And just know that this is part of your role as a light worker, or the mission of really stepping into your role as a light worker. But now let me share with you of the purpose then behind this. Because the purpose of all this is to help you then become ready, grow ready to then hear the call to step into your role as a light worker, to be a divine messenger, a celestial healer, a worker of the light. Meaning, you're then really feeling called to then assist others, especially because throughout your journey, you will discover different modalities. You will learn about different modalities. You will practice different modalities. And then you will also then feel called to then use one or many to then help others. And it's never just one thing that you do. And because all of the different things that you're learning, they all can be the tools that you then use to help other people. For me, it started out with coaching. I started with coaching and then I learned all these different modalities. But at the core of it, I still do the coaching. That's the vehicle of how I help my clients. But then the tools that I use is light language, is channeling, is working with the Akashic records, giving guidance. Now, of course, I don't do EFT anymore. I felt like I really outgrew that a long time ago. I also no longer use Reiki, but I use what I have learned from Reiki. I still use the energy whenever I do my energy healing work through light language. So it's all the tools that you will learn throughout your journey that then makes this beautiful package of you being the light worker, of bringing your work into the world and making that impact, making a difference in people's lives. And eventually, and you may not be there yet, you may still be on the path of your mission of really awakening and rediscovering yourself and those type of things. But eventually there will be a time when you feel that calling that there's more that you are meant to be doing. And I want to invite you to listen to that. When you get the nudge that there is more possible for you, that you're meant to do more, to be more, to experience more, then please do yourself a favor and listen to that. Yes, there will be fears, there will be doubt, but I want to invite you, challenge those fears, challenge those doubts, and go do it anyways. Because once you do, your life will change in beautiful ways that you never even thought possible. And when you get to impact another soul's lives, when you get to impact someone else, that in itself will blow your mind. It is so beautiful, it's so heartwarming and fulfilling, and that is when you then really embrace your role as a light worker. And here I just want to share with you a video that I think would maybe benefit you. It's about the power of using light language and in discovering your life purpose. There's a link in the description below if you would like to check that out. It can give you some guidance of how to actually use light language to really step into your role of really uncovering your life purpose and those type of things. But now I would like to know from you, do you consider yourself a light worker? Have you heard that calling to be a way shower to others, to use what you have learned to assist others? Even if you're not doing it yet, but do you feel that calling that you are meant to be doing something like that? I would love to know. Let me know in the comments below. Let me know. But here you go. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, do me a favor, hit the like button, maybe even subscribe if you haven't done so already, and definitely maybe share it with someone that you think could benefit from hearing this. I would greatly appreciate it. But also be sure to check out this video here about using light language to uncover your life purpose, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next video. Until then, make it an amazingly abundant, successful day. Namaste.